No.
All right,
Wait.
welcome to the BFR podcast presented by Sports Mockery. My name's Dave. I cover the Bears for Sports Mockery. You can find all my work on sportsmockery.com. I'm joined by my co-host, the famous It's Ficky Baby. You can follow him on Twitter. Again, at It's Ficky Baby, IG as well. Ficky, man, it's a tough one. It's our first, Bears vs. Packers recap of the season, at least. It wasn't great. So I want to kind of start here. I want to start maybe with some good vibes here. You were there on the ground. It was Bears versus Packers. You were there for the pregame tailgating, kind of set the atmosphere before the game. And then also kind of what transpired. I know early on from the broadcast, I feel like it was very loud, energetic. Then it started to kind of tumble. So give me an idea kind of what it was being, there.
Well, it was awesome. We have been, as you can look at other podcasts, right? Like our other podcasts earlier, you saw how excited we were to finally be week one. You could feel that. This felt like a new era, a new turning of the book, a new Chicago Bears. Aaron Rodgers is gone. So even from the tailgate, I think I got there maybe noonish, right? They started at 11. The tailgate we're at, there's probably 500 people dancing on bus. The vibe is there. It's set. Even by kickoff, bro, the place is roaring. It's there. I've never seen something get so deflated, though, so quickly. It was easily by mid-second quarter, the boos are already out, right? People, and it's only 10-6 at that point, right? But it's it was an ugly 10-6. So it was awesome in the light that, the excitement, the anticipation, the energy was good, but to see how quickly it dwindled, which I'm not even blaming Bears fans. I'm on that. I'm with you. You thought this was going to be a different Bears, a different year, a different season. And again, I know it's just one game, but the only information we have so far is that one game. You know what I mean? If it was if this game would have came week 4, right? And let's say we had 2 other games that were good, one that was okay, right? Even if we lost, say 2-1, and then we shat the bed like we did here. There's a little bit less of oh my God, freak out. This team is garbage because we have other games prior. You know what I mean? So I just think it's it's the great analogy I thought was if you're waiting for Christmas, right? And you're about to open up gifts and you've been telling your parents yo, this is the one thing I want. This is the one thing I want. You even have this feeling that you're going to get that. And then you get no presents, right? I know that's extreme. But you wake up and there's nothing for you. Zilch. You're just sitting there, just a sad little child, expecting that you were going to get something that's just normal. You know what I mean? So we have a comment here. He said, damn, man, from Mustafa said, damn, man, hate to see Ficky get his heart broken. That was it. That's what it felt like. It felt like you got your heart broken of just, you're stuck in sadness. You know what I mean? So I don't think that vibe's going to continue on. I really don't. But it was so polarizing to see oh, we're on top of the world. And within 8 minutes, we're burn this place down. So interesting dynamic for sure.
It seems just after that first quarter, I mean, even after that first drive where we just couldn't convert, a QB sneak, it was just difficult. But we'll get into the game here in a second. I want to kind of bring up something that if you're on Twitter, you've probably seen it if you're a Bear, if you kind of follow the Bears at all. Ficky, he kind of had a post-game recap. I know we're kind of jumping the gun, but he had a post-game recap walking out of Soldier Field. And it's probably one of the best things I've ever seen in a very long time. It really cheered me up, made me laugh. So I'm going to go ahead and bring it up here. Ficky, first of all, when I'm bringing it up, just tell us a little bit, what were your thoughts going into this? Were you
Yeah, the thoughts are kind of I didn't think anything of it. I'm literally just documenting. I'm just yo, I just need to talk to someone. You know what I mean? I'm kind of venting to myself, but it was more of people were kind of commenting how I was feeling. I didn't notice it till afterwards, but they're you just feel defeated. You just feel there's nothing you can do. You know what I mean?
I'm not gonna be upset.
So yeah, because typically this, and what I'll say, this is normally I walk out, I'm F this, just angry. And this is almost just bro, I'm so used to this at this point. It's just it is what it's almost it's defeat, So it is. I'm glad we got some good
let's roll it. Yeah, it's great honestly, like I said, you've summed it up perfectly, man. You weren't too harsh, but you were still real. And you kind of tried to warn me. I was pretty optimistic and not saying you were pessimistic, but you kind of kept it a little bit more, flat, even keel. So I'm going to play it for our audio listeners, Apple, Spotify. This is Ficky. He's walking out of Soldier Field. I think you're walking out a little early from the video.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
It was like the start of the fourth-ish.
Start of the fourth. Yeah, right, so you're walking out.
Yeah, somewhere in the fourth, somewhere around there. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people were leaving.
Yeah.
At least from what we could see. I'm going to go ahead and play it, and then we'll go ahead and, laugh and talk about it here. So hit the play.
I'm not sitting here for this whole shit. I paid money, but I'm not going to be upset about this shit. Tell me this. Is Justin Fields good? I don't know. Could he be? Of course. Do we have enough evidence? I don't know. Is the trenches good enough? No, they're not. Offensive line kind of sucks ass. Defensive line, defensive line, as we know, has sucked ass. So we look at this shit. How do I walk away from this and feel? Fucking not good. The team's not going to be good. I said this from day one. I expected we'd win 7 games. Yeah, we'll probably win 7. We'll play Carolina, probably win them. Other teams are god-ass garbage. We'll probably beat them. But teams that we're supposed to beat, we're not going to beat them. We're not. Based off the information I've gotten so far, we're not. Does that mean we should stick with Justin Fields? I have no idea. I fucking hope so, but I have fucking no idea. Luckily, we have 2 picks next year, so if we need to go with fucking Caleb Williams or Drake May or fucking Sanders, we can, and we'll fucking find out. Unfortunately, this is the life that we decide to choose because we choose to be fucking Bears fans. And you know what we do? Every year, we lose against the Packers. We do. We lose against the Packers. Don't ever talk shit to Packers fans. They beat us every year. They're better than us every year. So that's what it is. I'm out. Fuck this game. That's just how it works. I don't know why I paid money for it. Every year I do stupid shit, and this is another mistake that I did. All right, see y'all.
Bro, it's like PTSD going through. I'm watching. I'm like, I feel it. Yeah, it's
honestly, but the love that it got, you can see here on Twitter, over almost 500,000 views. It has almost 4,000 likes. You got over 200 plus comments. I think even more
for this whole shit.
Trying to play it again. Even more as far as I think quote tweets, but you got a lot of love, man. Rightfully so. You got some great DMs, I think, from Carl, right, or something like that.
Barstool, yeah. But I think why it resonated is because it was just like a real, like I like the key piece. Like I think that was like really realistic. Is like when I say like, yo, we can't talk. Like I have a good friend here who's a Packers fan. Like I lift with him daily. I can't talk shit to him ever. Like there is nothing that we've done in the 2 decades, right, that I've been, or 3 decades I've been alive, right, that I'm like, oh yeah, I have enough leverage to be like, this is a true rivalry. It's not. So I think that like why this kind of hurt a lot, because I think it was finally like a realization, because we were living a lot off hope and potential. Again, this is only every year I do stupid shit. Yeah, it's facts. But we were hoping for potential, right? You know what I mean? We were thinking, okay, maybe this is the year, and it still can be. It can be salvaged. Just like the back half of last year was better than the first half, right? So it's not like you play 16 games for a reason, but you couldn't have had a worse start. And the narrative of this start fits the exact same narrative of the previous Bears teams. So I just think it's like too familiar. You know what I mean? Like if we'd have lost the game to the Packers, but we put up like 350 passing yards or something like that, like we still lose. Like maybe the defense is just garbage, but we like still ball out in a way and lose. I'd be like, okay, the times have changed. That sure, we didn't beat the Packers. We want to beat them, but at least this is not like the normal Bears team. But this is the exact same Bears team. We only threw the ball down the field past 10 yards twice. You know what I mean? Like that is stereotypical Bears team where we run too much, right? The run game doesn't work. Then we don't know what to do. So we do short game, and the defense was ass, right? And I'm not even too concerned about the defense per se, but anyways, it was just like, it was just kind of like a self-realization. We're like, God damn it. This is the exact same team as last year, which was the exact same team as last year, which was the exact same team as last year. So hopefully I'm wrong next week. Hope, it's a long season, but it couldn't have been a worse start.
No, but we talked about it. I think everyone, on the pod, this was a game that win or lose, it meant something, down the road. Now you can go 15-1 and maybe it doesn't mean shit, you're like, okay,
right.
But we're not realistically.
No, there's after that game. No, there's no way. There's absolutely no way.
But it's like this meant something. You had such a good opportunity, and they shit the bed. I mean, simple as that. So we're gonna go ahead and start it off again. Awesome video, Ficky. I'm very thankful that you kind of put it out, showed your personality. You deserve all the love, man. If you guys like that content, go ahead and give him a follow on Twitter. I think TikTok, Instagram. He has
all the same.
Going to be doing. I told him he has to do videos every single week now. It's just a must.
Oh, I definitely will. I definitely will. But I mean, if it's as atrocious as this game, I feel like there's got to be a voice of reason out there, because like we can't all just be in our emotions, because it's so easy. I'm not even mad at Bears fans. It was tough. It was tough, but I'm glad that we got some positivity, some jokes or whatever that can make some people feel a little bit better.
Steve in the comments said so much hype and for nothing. I think that kind of sums it up, man. But let's go ahead and get to the game. We're going to start with Justin Fields. Have to. He got outperformed by Jordan Love. I think it's simple to say. Not even going to read the stat lines, but I want to do a report card. We're going to do this every single game. Ficky, might as well start with you, man. What did you see? You saw, you didn't even, have you watched the TV broadcast yet? Or are you going simply off just what your eyes?
I've seen like clips here and there, but I need to do I'm not going to rewatch. I'll be honest. I'm not going to rewatch the full game. I can't do it. I can't go through that, but I'm going to rewatch the first half, because at least we start to see some things. But if I had to go a grade for Fields, it wasn't like he wasn't garbage. He wasn't like, and there's some stats to back it up. The amount of times he was pressured, the times he wasn't pressured, he played well. Like I think he went 16 for 22 on the plays he was not pressured at all, but he was also pressured 54% of the time, which is a lot. Again, it's the same old Bears bad offensive line. So the issue, I think why it's so hard to grade Fields again, right, is we talked about this last spot, Dave, is like we're hoping the excuses were out of the way, so then we can just look at Fields and be like, oh, what are you doing with a decent O-line, wide receivers getting open, things like that. You know what I mean? But I think because the O-line was so bad again, that it's like, I can grade you like a C. That's all I'll probably give you. But it's like, how much is that you not making the right play, reading the right plays? And how much of that is you having no trust in your offensive line, right? Which both are valid. So it's a C for now. I mean, obviously we'll have more information once the games go on, but I'm kind of putting you just like average, right? You weren't the worst. You've had way worse games and you've had way better ones. So just middle of the pack, in my opinion. What about you?
Yeah, I'm trying to get off mute here. I keep on muting myself, but I'm bringing it up. I agree with everything you just said. You brought up the good, point of just how much pressure he was under. And I'm not trying to make an excuse, but those are the facts. We're going to kind of go through some of the deeper analytics. This is from Lauren Cox, but I believe he got it from PFF. Justin Fields was under % like you said, under pressure, 53% of the dropbacks. Also, I think almost every drop back was just going straight back, nothing on the move except for one play. I think one rollout, and it was a touchdown to Mooney, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And it's corner. Like you with Justin, it almost seems like the whole entire offense just took a step back and kind of reverted to like those first 5-6 weeks before that Patriots game last year. And so it's like they spent all offseason on a guy or trying to tailor an offense to Justin that is not his strengths right now. And it's like, why are we doing this again? It's like 2 steps forward and then we take 4 steps back. It's just, Bears as we see it. So, but when he was kept clean, he went 16 of 22 for 133 yards and 3 drop passes, according to PFF. And it's like, again, garbage time. I don't really want to hop, it's just like garbage time, for some of those throws, but
of course.
Again, it is what it is. As far as just what, as far as a grade for Justin, what would you give him, that you would seem that is fair when you take account the play calling and everything? Because I have some things I want to say, but I want to.
Yeah, that's why I said like C, because I've seen
you said
worse
C? Okay.
games. Yeah, no, which is good. I've seen worse games, but there's so many variables that I almost can't move the needle. I can't go too low. Like maybe C-, I could see it, whatever. But it's just like the O-line is just, it's not good. It was not good enough for me to be like, I can put this, and it's never completely on someone. It's a team sport, obviously, for a reason. And sure, did Fields miss some, passes? Maybe was he check downing too much? But then I kind of go back to like, it was a part of the scheme for him to check down. Also, the whole offense, the whole offseason, the focus was like Fields working on like check downs. Like you don't always have to go big play, touchdown to check down. Let's go check down to touchdown. So it's almost like not saying they broke him in a way, but it's like, is he too focused on checkdowns now? He still doesn't trust his life, which I mean, his line or his life at this point because of the line. So it's just like, C minus. I'm not going to argue that. I don't think anything. I can't go as high as B. I'd feel like a homer. Anything in the B's, it's just impossible with the performance we saw. But I'm also not going to jump ship and be like an F because we've had way worse quarterback games. At least that's one thing as a Bears fans. We have plenty of games that we've witnessed of horrid quarterback play. And I don't put this one in that conversation. Because I even think he graded out on PFF, right? Take it how you want. But like he graded out like what, 0.1, like a decimal point better than Love.
Yeah.
So it's like you played a similar game. The difference was Love never got touched. Also, Fields got some of our only first downs in the beginning of the game, especially the first quarter, was because of his legs again, because the play broke down and the man was running for his life. So again, it's that same old shit, same Bears.
Yeah. And so I think you said it perfectly. For me, it's like I was able to see the TV broadcast. I have rewatched the game. I also watched all 22. And also there's a lot of great people out there who've also watched it and kind of gave their analysis. And for my first watch back, I was trying to see like, what the fuck was Luke Getsy thinking? Like, I was just like, man, like it felt like it was so many screens. Like I tweeted this during the game. I said, does anyone else feel like the offense is predictable right now? Like if I can tell what's coming, what do you think, people who get paid millions of dollars, can do? And to be honest, the Bears were just outcoached. We'll get to that. But Justin Fields, as far as just, he didn't let it rip. And he didn't have a ton of opportunities, but there was a couple opportunities. There's a play right here I'll bring up that was he ended up checking it down, but he had it almost looks like an open DJ Moore. That could have been a huge gain. I'll bring it up on here. Ficky, I want to kind of share this, and you kind of give me what you think before I kind of go into it fully here.
No, that's fair.
Again, it's just this play right here. So I'll restart it. It was a chuck down.
Can you point out where's Moore at? What side is he?
So Moore is right here.
Yeah, I see him. Okay.
Or is that Moore right there?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, he's running like a C route, and right here.
Yeah, it's open.
Yeah, it's open, man. It's again, it's like I'm playing quarterback here, armchair quarterback, but it's like you had a couple other plays where he just doesn't.
That's my thing though, where I'm like, is this coaching where it's like we are telling you, because he said, I think on the post game something about if the check down's open, take it. Like that's what he's being called. I'm not saying that's necessarily bad, but it seems like they are trying to retrain his thinking from going, oh, you are downfield more, to let's look at the less high risk plays, more safety plays. But it's like you can't do that the whole game. And then also if the defense isn't giving you that, you got to go something else. You know what I mean? So that's why it's so hard, because we're not in the building. So I have no idea what they're telling this guy to do. You know what I mean? If they're telling him to do this and the game plan is short, that's what he said. The game plan was to do short, right, type of plays, right? Because they do have a decent secondary. If you're following what your coaches are telling you, how can I be mad at you for doing that? If you're told, hey, your first read is that check down, right? Because you're going to see it first, right? And it's open. Mm-hmm. We want you to take that first. It doesn't matter if anything else gets open later, right? Because that's what you're told to do. That's what you're coached on. But if it's not told that and you're just doing that, then now I can be like, okay, now you're just not making the right decision on the play. But I have no idea.
I find it hard to believe. I know there's an emphasis on the short game, but first of all, horizontal the whole game. How are you going to beat the
whole game?
You're playing scared. Like you're playing not to lose, almost like it from the very jump, the first drive. Again, this is about Justin Fields, but it's like back-to-back QB sneaks. Why don't you, if you know you're going to go for it there, third and 1, right? Third and inches, whatever it was, just hand the ball off. Get Roshan in there. What your best play or best players, just, whatever you obviously prepared. The first game of the season, all you've had to do is think about these type of scenarios. Draw it up. Don't do a QB sneak and have Herbert like 2-3 feet behind Fields and he has to run in there, and it wasn't even executed perfectly. And then you just run it again. I mean, the whole Packers line was just frustrating.
Well, they have a
spot, but
Oh yeah, terrible spot.
Terrible
But I mean,
spot.
that's the thing that we talked about previously, you know, in the pregame is like they have a good defensive line. Rashawn Gary played 10
my
snaps,
God.
and on the 10 snaps, all 8 out of 10 snaps had pressures. Like they're and I think like the tackles played well, but the issue going in of this team, we talked about it, and I said in my thing, is the trenches. The offensive line right now, you got some young guys, right? We're gonna expect some stuff, but even though Darnell Wright and Braxton Jones, like they played above average, so I'm not mad about that. The 3 guys in the middle haven't been. We've been shifting them all around. We know Nate Davis is dealing with his personal stuff, and that's totally fine. I get that. But like you could see it on the field. And so, you know, it's hard to judge.
So,
it's like, okay, if you think your ball's gonna be dropped, like if you think you're gonna be sacked real quick, you don't trust your line, you're going quick passes all game. That's why I'm like, I don't know. There's so many variables.
dude,
Sorry,
so Packers team was credited with 35 pressures, trailing only the Cowboys by 1.
Crazy.
Cowboys had 36,
crazy, by
and
the
the
way,
Cowboys
bro.
went nuts. I mean, you think think the Bears fans had a tough day? We did, but I mean, New York, they just handed a contract, giant bag to Daniel Jones, and that was
40-0. Oh my god, I couldn't support that team again. But yeah. There's definitely some worse outings. 40s.
Sure. I don't know how you don't score in an NFL. I mean, well, I can't be talking shit here. I mean, we're a Bears. I mean, we've scored 3.
Yeah, we've had plenty of games.
A lot of 3-point games. You know, that SpongeBob meme where it's like, I got $3. You know, we got 3 points, and it's happened too often. So I'm not going to talk shit, but awful performance. But like the offensive line at the end of the day has to perform much better. Again, I know it was all switched up, but I'm going to go ahead and get to my grade. Justin Fields. I'll show it here again. Another reason why I'm going to drop him down. I'm going to go C- too. I just don't want to go D because like, I think Luke Getsy and that game plan, you have 6 months or however long the offseason is. And this is what you come out with. You didn't tailor it to Justin Fields. It's almost a Matt Nagy, Trubisky. It's like they're trying to make Justin a pocket passer and he's not there yet. He can be, but that is not the way, at least right now, that you could have the best way to beat Green Bay. It just didn't make sense. So for me, I'm going C-. Might be harsh, might be too easy. I don't know. Let me know. But this right here is where I'm talking about where it's like there's NFL windows that are there for Fields and he's not ripping it. And it's like, I don't know if it's the O-line. I don't know if he's confident. He has the arm. He has the arm talent. And so it's frustrating to see this type of play. This is, I believe it's going to be Kmet coming kind of open in the middle. And you tell me, man, like, I'm sorry, it might be Mooney.
No, I think this
Mooney
is the
or
Mooney
Kmet.
mesh. Yeah, it's the Mooney mesh right there. Yeah. We're in a mesh route.
Yep.
Yeah.
Love that.
I mean, it's open.
But
yeah, no, it is. It's a great one. But
like, what? Where's some anticipation here?
Yeah, you got to throw it.
And for our people listening on Apple, Spotify, you know, apologize, but we're watching a play here. I think it's the first quarter as well. Justin, like you said, it's a mesh route. Mooney's kind of coming over. You got Kmet. They're kind of both open here. Kmet's a little bit more covered. It's a little bit more of a tough throw, but if you put it on the, on the inside.
Yeah, but you got to rip it. It's right there. It's right there. You can get that easy. But you know what? You know it's funny,
and he's sacked.
Yeah, you still have to rip it, and I agree. I'm not like defending Justin all the way. He definitely committed some faults here, right? But again, pressure immediately.
No,
the man doesn't trust his line. I mean, maybe not immediately, but it's like even if you were to rip it, he rips it. He's still getting smoked there. It's not like the man had a clean pocket the whole time and then held it way too long.
But while
he held it like
here, it's a pretty clean pocket. There is some pressure coming, especially from the left side with Braxton Jones, which he had a terrible day. But you see Fields, he's looking to the right. I don't know what he's watching. I don't know if he's watching Mooney. If he's watching Mooney.
No, I don't think he's watching Mooney. I think his first route is that outside wide receiver. I think it's DJ Moore out there.
I think it was Moore too. So he's looking, but why doesn't it go to Moon? I don't know what the reads are. Again, we're not in the quarterback room. We have no idea what the coaching staff is telling him to do.
Thing. That's why it's so tough because I'm like, I have no idea what. It's so hard to grade him. If
you see right here, Mooney's coming open. His eyes are right here. If he just kind of watches, just a little glance at Mooney, he's like, okay, you can see that it's coming open.
Yeah.
And so
he should have thrown
right here. And I don't know if he's looking right here. I don't know. Is he looking at Mooney? I don't know. But he looks away. And I'm like, if you just anticipate that window is going to be there.
I think he went
too soon?
Outside. No. I think he went first read was not Mooney. First read was that outside receiver. Then he looks, you see, he looks more like center here, but I think he's looking at Kmet, sees Kmet's taken. And he's like, oh, fuck, I'm out. And now he has to, now he's like, no one's open. So I think Mooney's his third read. He didn't get to his read fast enough.
Dude, Cody White, what the hell happened here? Because like the pocket collapsed pretty quick. Like you said, it was,
Well, because they like switched. They did a stunt, and they didn't handle the stunt well.
I mean, they can't handle a lot well after this game. We'll show a couple clips here going there, but it's frustrating. Again, it's tough to put it all on Fields, and I'm not going to do that. But at the same time, year 3, you good quarterbacks, they elevate. They elevate their team. Joe Burrow, there's guys out there that just make up for incompetent line play, and it's like I would love to see Fields do that. And
and the hope is maybe he will. Maybe because we look,
he's done it before.
Okay, we look
last
Burrow
year.
had a horrible game this past weekend, right? He had like 82 total yards. Like the difference is though, when someone like that has a bad game, there's other games that we can go to and you're like, oh, we'll be fine. Like people have bad games. So for us, the fear is right now, is this just a bad game? Or is this a telltale sign of what's to come? And because it's the first game, we're all like, freaking out, which we should be. It's so, again, if we bounce back next week, Fields has 250 plus yards, right? And he scores 2 touchdowns or something like that, 2+. I feel like it will calm the waters a little bit. Not saying completely, but we'd be like, okay, you followed it up.
You can't lose against Tampa because then you got Kansas City in Kansas City.
And Denver.
And then Denver, who Russell Wilson looked a lot better.
Yeah,
their coaching is going to be a lot better. Yeah, I mean, then it's like, holy shit. It's like you're talking draft.
You're talking
picks.
new head coach, draft picks.
Yeah, and we're going to get to the coaching in a minute. But again, Justin, from what I seen, it wasn't pretty. It wasn't all bad either. A lot of good. I mean, there's some good in there.
Right.
I think I like how he was decisive to his checkdowns. I think the rollout to Mooney was, awesome. He also had, I think the first drive, second drive, he had an awesome kind of escaped. And I think he found Mooney instead of running for like a 20-yard, 15-yard.
But nothing to the offense. Nothing with the offense, because I just thought about it. There's so many penalties too. So like a lot of those drives were stalled because we weren't smart. You talk about the hits principle, right? They focus on that so much. The offense, I know. I think we had like 7 penalties or something like that in total or something like that. But there was a lot of them that were drive killers. And it's just like, bro, like we don't have the luxury to do that. It's already hard enough for us to march down the field. We can't keep going back in the opposite direction.
Yeah, a lot of penalties. I want to bring up his next gen passing chart for Justin Fields as well. Again, sorry for our Apple, Spotify listeners, but this really pissed me off. I saw it late on I think it was yesterday, late last night, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. It came out, pulled up here. You can see it almost reminds me of Trubisky and Nagy. Like it's like, what the hell? Nothing's down. And here's the thing. With Trubisky, he doesn't have a deep ball. With Fields, he does.
It's just strange.
So for me, it's like, does he just not have enough time? There's probably a high percentage. That's probably a high percentage why he couldn't get some of these executed. I think there was a free play that happened where they caught the Packers subbing and they had a deep shot to Mooney and he couldn't even get it off. And it's like it would have been at least 30, 40 yards, maybe a touchdown if you hit Mooney in stride. And it's just frustrating. So what do you think of this passing chart, man? Obviously not pretty.
Yeah, it says 2 things, right? It says basically possibly 2 things. We don't trust our offensive line. We don't trust our quarterback, or a combination of both. That's all it says. Because his strength, that's why it's so confusing. Because his strength is his deep ball, I kind of knock out we don't trust our quarterback throwing it deep, right? Because I think, again, the offseason, they spent the time trying to be like, hey, here's the short plays. Yeah, it's do this. It's okay, because we can march down the field that way. So for me, I saw this, right? And I'm like, you don't trust your offensive line. You don't think you have enough time back there to get the ball downfield. You don't. And you didn't do any rollouts or anything like that, which you should have, or like QB boots, slides, all that stuff. So for me, I think they know that this O-line was, first of all, they haven't played together because they've been switching back and forth. Like missing Tevin Jenkins is huge. I'm telling you, it's huge. And so I think that with the new offensive line, the stuff with Nate Davis, a new center in there, first time really all playing together, you saw it. And it showed here. They're like, yeah, we don't want you getting like he didn't get killed, to be fair. On the flip side, it's
he
like
didn't.
No, but we've seen that though in games where it's like, bro, the O-line is just so bad and he's getting smoked like that. That's because he's probably looking for these deep plays, holding on to the ball. They both suck because it results in losses. I'm not defending Fields here. I'm just saying though, for me, it's a telltale sign that the coaching staff understands where the weaknesses of this team, and it's in the line on both sides.
Yeah. So again, he went 24 for 37, 216 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He had, now in my tweet, I said 3 of the 37 pass attempts went beyond 10 yards. I was so tired, so pissed off, I couldn't even count right. So I guess he had 4 attempts that went beyond 10 yards.
I mean, that's still under 10% or 10%.
But I think he was, so he was 2 for 2. He had 1 touchdown. So he was 2 for 4 with 1 touchdown going beyond 10 plus yards. So it's like frustrating, just let it, and it's on Fields too. Cause it's like, there was some plays where he could have let it rip. And again, as the game's progressing, maybe he's getting, his clock's getting sped up, the offensive line. And credit to the Packers, man. They had, I hate to say it, but like they are just the trenches, like in your video, they're just way better. Offensive line, defensive line, just almost light years ahead of the Bears. And it's just such a good opportunity and fit for Love, who can just come in and not really have to worry about that. And Fields, it's the opposite still. And maybe Tevin Jenkins being out, switching the line about a week before the game, changes some things. Robert Tonyan only playing 4 snaps, no 12 personnel. I think there was four offensive plays where they were lined up in 12 personnel.
Yeah, because Tonyan was out.
Which is what? 1 running back, 2 tight ends, and then 2 receivers. Yeah. And it's like they preached all offseason, this is what we can't wait to get going. And again, maybe there's a game plan, a wrench thrown in there with, that back injury on Saturday or Friday when it came up. So it's like they predominantly just ran 11 personnel, which 1 tight end, it's all you can do. But Kmet was almost a no-show, in my opinion. He had some garbage time, but it's like, it's frustrating. You see so much potential in Justin, and it's hard because you can't really get pissed too much at him. You're upset with Getsy, but it's like there's so many factors that go into play. It's like you better get this fixed, otherwise we're gonna have a very, very long season, and we're gonna have a lot of draft talk coming up, and that's not fun, man. Like I really was hoping for a better showing, and like I said, it is what it is.
That's just the thing, because now what was tough is what I started to notice is now like the narrative. There used to be a lot more Fields defenders, and now it feels like people are like turning on him. But I think I'm still in the middle of the camp where it's like, yes, there's still some stuff. But I feel like it's more the pieces still. Like we have not gotten to the point yet, which I thought was the goal of the offseason, right? Where you mark off the excuses, and then it's much easier for you to look at the team, right? And be like, or at least the offensive side, right? Because that's where Fields plays, and be like, okay, O-line's decent enough. You have time. You should be making these plays. Wide receivers, which I think we did get right. Like I think wide receivers were getting open, which is good. So you don't have to worry about that. But basically the O-line is the missing piece to where you can be like, if the O-line was decent and he was still making these bad reads, I'd be like, okay, Fields, what are you doing? You had 8 seconds back there. Throw the ball. You know what I mean? But it's like, oh, no, most of the game, you had someone in your face. I bet you didn't even trust getting to your second read. It doesn't mean you still didn't make the right read or you didn't pass the ball or didn't rip it. You definitely didn't do those things. But it's because you had a fucking 300-pounder chasing you down for your life every snap. So, yeah, and the play calling wasn't, as Michael shows here. He said worst play calling ever. It wasn't that great. So the adjustments were not there either. So do I wait the whole season on this one game? No. But am I like, could you have started worse other than like a 40-0 beating like the Giants? No, like this was pretty bad. And your home turf, come on. So hopefully they can bounce back.
11 straight losses, last one going back to the Patriots. That's a hell of a comment right there.
That's his breakout game too.
And they obviously went away from that game plan entirely, in my opinion. And no, it's not even an opinion, it's facts.
You made a comment earlier, and I heard some other people saying this too. It seemed like it was like the first 5 weeks game plan, you know what I mean? Like of last year before they knew what to do with Fields. That's what it looked like.
It's incompetence.
Just straight drop.
It really is.
Straight dropbacks. Oh, yeah, it was bad, bro.
Again, so I'm going C-. I think you're around C-, right, as well?
Yeah. Either of those, I'm fine with.
Yeah. And Richard goes, He goes, why go away from the little success they had last year, rolling him out? It's just crazy. Nope, you're right. It's got to change. It's got to next week. They have to just go back. Honestly, just go back to what they were doing against the Patriots, and everything should be a lot better. It's gonna help the offensive line. It's gonna alleviate a lot of different things. So I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna transition. That's enough Justin Fields for now. We're gonna go ahead and do just the best things that we saw from Sunday. Not a lot, Ficky. You were at the game though, so you can. Yeah. It can be play. It can be tailgating. What? Yeah. Give me your thoughts,
mine's gonna
man.
be the people. The people were great, man. Like the Bears fans are fun. I think we're a fun group. I mean, not as much when we're losing. Like at the end of the game, no one was really having a good time, which is fair. But being at the tailgate, going into the game, it just felt like, like we show up. And that's what's crazy, because like we show up when this franchise has not shown up for us for decades. You know what I mean? So I just want to give a shout out to all the Bears fans. I met a lot of new people, a lot of fun people, like other podcast people I met too, and things like that. It was just like overall. So I guess that's the best thing off the field, right? The environment prior to the debauchery we watched. And then the second thing I'd say was Roschon Johnson looked pretty good, right? So Rojo, look, he started getting a lot of the snaps in the second half as well. He had some kind of like big bruiser runs, like that's a positive. And then also, I'll go with this one too. Darnell Wright, rookie tackle, did pretty well. For a rookie tackle against that D-line, which is pretty decent, he held his own. You didn't really see him making that many mistakes. I don't think he had any penalties. So to see your first-round pick, because we don't see this often, Dave, our first-round picks actually end up being good. Either we don't have them or the ones we pick are not good, because the last two first-round picks we had were Mitch Trubisky and Kevin White. So to see Darnell Wright actually, first get playing time, right? Stay 100% of the snaps and hold his own. I think that's fantastic. So I'd have to say, if we're gonna be mad at Poles for not fixing the whole offensive line, that's fair. But so far in the draft, his players have been pretty decent. So excited about the future.
Yeah, I agree with all. I'm glad you met all those people. I mean, that's got to be the highlight of the weekend, unfortunately. But Roschon Johnson, I think, again, this play right here where he just runs over the Packers corner number 20, honestly hilarious. I mean, he hit him so hard, made the guy got up and accidentally tackled him.
Yeah, it looked like a Madden play, to be honest, because he got
the way he's thrown up,
bro. Yeah,
but this play right here honestly kind of gave them life for a little bit in the stadium. Did you kind of feel that too?
Yeah. No, again, like the Bears fans, even through the third, right? Because people aren't leaving at halftime. They're just not, right? Anytime there's so big plays, people are going crazy. You could feel a shift. So it wasn't like we were so people weren't tuned out or anything. We were ready for those plays, and they were, ready to show that excitement. So, and
Justin came, I think, 2 plays later, this is where he rolled out and got the touchdown to Mooney, right?
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Yeah,
and then you get a stop there, I believe, in the next drive, or was it a field? No, they scored. I think, right?
I think so.
I can't remember. It's all
mixing
together.
So much. Yeah, they scored so much.
Yeah, they dropped 38. And anyways, I think they scored again, but then you come back and Fields is honestly trying to play hero ball and, throws a terrible interception. Terrible interception. I mean, he just was staring down Mooney the whole time. And, it's frustrating. So for me, man, there's not a lot. I mean, the best thing that I saw, man, I like Darnell Wright. I thought, like you said, everything you mentioned, 100% agree with. He wasn't perfect. He still had a very good PFF grade. I think 72 point something. I think it's the highest on the team.
Yeah.
And that's a rookie, and he wasn't perfect, obviously, but a great showing, especially against a tough defensive line that is the Packers,
Well, both highest graded out people, it was Wright was 1, and then not far behind, Braxton Jones was 2. I mean, Braxton Jones had some penalties and whatnot. I think he played well, not great, but not bad. But everyone else, the interior line was the issue, in my opinion. I felt more confident in how the tackles held up compared to the guards and center.
Yeah. Nate Davis, he had, I guess we'll get to that in a minute. But as far as best things, I'm struggling here. I really liked Trenton Gill. I mean,
he did punt well. Hey, another Poles pick right there. That's another draft pick.
Man, Trenton Gill, he did pretty well. As far as the defense goes, I thought they performed pretty well in the beginning. I thought they were helping, keeping the game close in that first half. I mean, they gave up 12 points?
10-6? Yeah, 10.
Was it 10-6?
At one point or something like that. Anyways, it could have been way worse. They kept us in it for a little bit.
Yeah. So 10-6, I'll give the best thing I saw was the defense, as far as the fight they showed in that first half. Obviously, Allen Williams has a lot to work on. They got destroyed. As far as just adjustments go, they just were outclassed. And so for me, liked Roschon Johnson. You took that one. That was honestly the one I was going to go with. I thought he was very, very good. I like DJ Moore when he got those 2 targets. He had a slant, and it was easy. They made it look easy.
That's a fireable offense. How do you trade for DJ Moore, which says 2 things, right? Like, we believe in this quarterback because we're trading the first round pick for him. And then the second thing is, how do you only have 2 targets, right? So here's my thing, right? There's going to be games. Let's say, for example, Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase has a bad game, right? He may only have 4 catches for, let's say like 45 yards or something like that, right? The catches may be low, but he still gets targeted 10 plus times. You know what I mean? It's just that he's not, tight coverage. They're guarding him well. Whatever. I'm not worried about the catches. He only had 2. The issue is you threw it 37 times, and only 2 of those 37 passes, whether complete or not, went to your best player on the best player on the whole team, bro. I do not and that's game planning. I know it is. That's 100% coaching, because there's no way Fields would definitely look at his boy.
I can't even comprehend how that's not a game plan. If that's your game plan, you don't deserve to be in the NFL. Like, it's like DJ Moore is electric. He can make. I mean, this is one of the 2. I think he had he had back-to-back catches on that second drive, and that's it. They never went back to him ever. And it's like, you're so pissed off, you're throwing your computer. Don't do that. No, it's so frustrating, because that drive was, I think, probably their best drive of the game.
Yeah.
Back-to-back plays to DJ Moore that were positive. And then you have this one where he takes a hit here. I mean, the offensive line. I mean, look at the left guard already getting beat here. That's Whitehair,
right? Yep.
Getting beat off the rip. I mean, I don't know if they just snapped the ball and he's getting beat here. But Justin, mechanics, everything looks good here. He takes the hit, delivers it on time. Maybe a little anticipation, but DJ Moore does the rest. Doesn't go down there, gets you another 5, 6 yards, 7 yards.
Oh, wow. That's surprising. Who would have correlated that your best drive or you moving down the field was you giving the ball to the best weapon on your team?
Yeah.
Yeah, no shit. Like, this is no shit. That's what you're supposed to do. We didn't trade for DJ Moore, and he's been like, he is good. Yeah. It's not like the trade was 100% the right move. Give the dude the ball. Give the dude the ball. I don't care if it's not the first read. Force it. Nothing else was working. That'd be different. If DJ Moore came out of this game with 2 catches and we won the game, but like Mooney and Claypool were going off instead, I'd be like, that's fine. Yeah. The defense gave that, right? So we went with that. But that wasn't working either. So then go to if you're going to force it to anyone, force it to the guy, the best guy on the team.
It's so wild to think about this game. Even after the game, I was just sitting there, I went over to my in-laws, ate some good food. That was awesome. But every 5 minutes, I was pissed at something different. I was just like thinking about instances in the game. I'm like, they really threw it to DJ Moore twice. Justin Fields was, he dropped back, straight back, like the whole entire game. He didn't roll out like only one time. And then you throw in Roschon Johnson, who you probably should have started him a little bit earlier in that game as far as, giving him the reps. Foreman came out, he was okay. I liked Herbert, but again, it's like Roschon Johnson is clear they got. I think you just got to give him the ropes here. And it's just so many things that were just so aggravating. We're going to move forward. Not a lot of great things.
Wait a second, before we do, we have a super chat from Tito. Tito said, our O-line sucks so bad. Yeah, Tito's the man. Our O-line sucks so bad, Fields won't have time. Game plan was to throw it horizontal. The fuck? Mm-hmm. What joke? D had no fire. They look confused. Yes, spot on. O-line sucked. That's a little bit disappointing. D-line, it's like we knew that coming in. That's the worst part of our team. We know that. Right? Some positives though, actually out of that, Unique had a couple tackles for losses and a sack.
He's on pace
that's
for
actually not bad.
What, 17 sacks this year?
So that's not bad. So that was good in there. But basically, besides Unique and DeMarcus Walker, no one on that D line is going to do anything. Yeah. The other guys are rookies. I'm not counting on them, but non-existent.
I appreciate.
Thank you for the super chat.
I do.
Yes, thank you.
I do think the D had a little bit of fire, like the defense in that first half. Did he say D line or was it the defense?
It is the D. I think it's just because the
second
D
half
was
for sure.
Yeah. Oh, well, at that point we're playing catch up.
But that's on Alan Williams. Like, it's just, you have TJ Edwards lined up with Aaron Jones, who cooked him twice, back-to-back plays,
which is a hard guard. I'm not even mad,
but it's like help him out. The middle of the field was just wide open, and I know we're missing Kyler Gordon. He only played 27 snaps. We'll get to that in a minute, but it's like, I think this is a great transition to go to the worst things we saw, because I think we have another whole hour, to get through this. But no, for real. Before we hop into that, if you're liking the show and you want to kind of stick with us the rest of the year, it may be a long season, but we'll be here. We'll get you through it. Go ahead and like the video, sub to the channel, hit the notification icon if you want to be with us when we go live on YouTube. We appreciate it. And if you're listening on Spotify, Apple, we appreciate that too. Leave a rating. We appreciate all the love, especially in the off season. Didn't go as planned against Green Bay, but we're here. We're gonna get through it. And now it's the worst things we saw. I want to start this one off, Ficky, if that's okay.
Yeah, please do.
I did an article today. Went through a lot of Nate Davis's reps. It was brutal, man. It's like it looked like the man did not practice, all off season.
Because he did it.
And I'm not trying. I don't know what's going on with him, if it's whatever it is. So I don't want to speak on that. But he definitely looked like a guy who was rusty and did not get reps. And that, for me, it's like, don't put him out there if that's the case. Let him get warmed up. And maybe they thought this was the best idea. But man, I mean, he gave up 9 pressures, led the team, and I think that led the NFL. I'm not 100% certain on that. I'll look it up here, double check it. But as far as a right guard goes, 9 pressures up the middle. I think they had 20 pressures total between him, Whitehair, and Lucas Patrick. Justin Fields you cannot, any quarterback, let alone Justin, cannot get that much pressure up the middle. And so for me, he had a 7.2 passing grade on PFF. 7.2.
That's not good.
It's the lowest grade I've ever seen handed out, man. I've not seen a lower grade. Sam Mustipher
never
had higher grades than this, man. He was never in the single digits, and it's like, it's honestly mind-boggling.
That so bad.
You can check it out on sportsmockery.com. Again, shows presented by Sports Mockery. We're excited to be with them. Check it out. I kind of went a little bit deeper into it, but it's like this play right here is one that it pisses me off. Number 64.
Oh my goodness.
Nate Davis. I mean, I can't even
look at that. That's like 2 seconds. Look at 2 seconds. The man's already got 3 defenders on him.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Pause it here. Starts off okay. All right. This looks like a right guard. Look at his feet.
Yeah. He already looks
and then it's
off.
like, man, what are you doing right here? Man, I understand the Packers D line's good, but it's like this was within within less than a second, maybe, and he's already beat. It's
and Field still makes something out of it. That's my.
And then
that's where it's like it's plays like
Justin.
this where this is why it's so hard to give an analysis on Fields because of plays like this. And I think this Max just dropped a comment. I shared it because I think it makes the most sense. Worst thing by far is the fact that we can't get a read on whether Fields is the guy. I want to know whether it's him or do we need to move on? But I can't when your starting left guard or starting right guard, who is a good signing, was one of the best guards in the league last year. He was a top 10 guard, right? Comes in and does this. Now, again, personal stuff on the side. These are humans. I have empathy for that. I'm not going to speak on that matter because I don't know what it is, right? But if like you said, Dave, if that issue was causing him to be rusty, which would make sense and that's fair, why is he out there now? Even for the benefit of him. Like now he looks bad when he doesn't normally look bad. So it's like the man's obviously going through some stuff, right? We all do. Don't let him out.
At the end of the day, don't put him out there, man. Like I don't want to analyze this. I don't want to look at this, but we have to. This is part of the game. This is part of Justin Fields' development, year 3, a crucial year. And we can't have this. We cannot have a guy have a 7.2 PFF grade pass blocking. It's unbelievable. I saw that. I thought it was a typo. 7.2.
Yeah, it's pretty low. That's lower than Kadarius Toney's wide receiver grade this past weekend. So,
and he did. Yeah. Anyways, it's crazy. I love how, first of all, a little positive here. We're getting a little too negative. I love the maneuvering Fields did in the pocket. That shows a little bit of growth to me. It's like we've seen it before, but the fact that he has 3 guys touch him within like 2-3 minutes or 2-3 seconds, like right here, boom, avoids another one,
gets off, voids. Bro, he's running. That's what I'm saying, bro. How can this man expects pressure just to be in his face constantly. Yeah. So he's not making smart decisions. I'm sorry. It's tough.
Yeah, it is. It is very tough, man. So go ahead.
You said it here. He missed a ton of practice and got to start on the offense. Yeah. Interesting for sure.
And I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I was like, okay, if he can play, if he can come out there and not practice, pull an Allen Iverson, we're talking about practice, and he can be competent, fine. I'm cool with it. I'm not mad. But it's like, you threw him out there and what the worst thing happened, as far as yeah, it's frustrating. So go ahead and give us number 2. There's so many, we'll kind of limit it just because we don't want to be here for the rest of the night. That would not be fun for us or you. But give me another thing, maybe a second worst thing.
Second worst thing is the other side of the ball, bro. You can't 6 pressures. No wonder Love could do whatever he literally could sit back there all day. 6 pressures, bro. I am on the new age thinking. I'm no GM. I am not, but I'm on the new age thinking when it comes to football. It's the trenches. Your team is, unless you have like superstar talent like everywhere else, maybe like the Bengals did. But the Bengals had a good D line. They just didn't have a good O line when they went to the Super Bowl, right? And they couldn't win it because their O line, right? You even saw Patrick Mahomes, right? Not this year, but in the Super Bowl, he lost because the O line could not block him to save his life, right? You're only as good as the time you allow the quarterback to have and the time you allow the opposing quarterback to have as well, because that's when mistakes are made. You play Madden, you start to force things, and you start to throw it, right? That's where like bad plays happen, interceptions, turnovers, strip sacks, things of that nature. If you have someone who can sit back there and they're comfortable the whole game, Dave, the whole game, of course he's going to dot you up. He's not scared of anything. He sits back there and says, I got 4 seconds. I know I can go through my first, second, and third read. And it's pretty bad.
Jordan Love, again, he performed well. He did what he was supposed to do with what he had. He didn't have Christian Watson. He just, in a clean pocket, he did what he was supposed to do. He just was a good quarterback. Like, he made good plays. But again, he wasn't great. He didn't blow me out of the water, as far as like the plays. It's like the Bears were coming back. There was a fumble, off the snap. And of course they get, the lucky roll, and, Lucas Musgrave was wide open on that. It reminded me of the play against that the Bears had against the 49ers last year in week 1, where it's like Pettis comes wide open, on that similar route.
Yeah.
And
I was at that one too.
It was Pettis.
No, it was Pettis.
Yeah. And it's like, what the hell? And he didn't even score, which is hilarious.
Wild. Thank God.
Just crazy. Yeah, I don't even know. I was pissed. I was like, he didn't even score. Like, I'm like, it is just so infuriating to watch. For me, another thing is, as far as the worst things I saw, it's tough. There's so much. I don't want to like narrow it down. I believe the coaching was terrible. We kind of touched on it, but this play right here, the Bears, it's like they did so great here. They caught the Packers subbing. We talked about it early in the pod, kind of going over Justin Fields kind of report card, but it's right here. They do great. They snap the ball early. They catch, the Packers lacking, trying to make a substitution. They get a free play. How often do we get that, from the Mitch Trubisky? We didn't get it a lot. And so for here, it's like, okay, awesome. Love they're going fast here. They get the ball snapped. And then Darnell Wright, who was a rookie, had a good game. But right here, he kind of gets beat, number 52. And feels, you're going to see here, he has Mooney wide open on this play, coming across the middle. He's even hopping. Yep. And Fields saw him. I think he saw him on time too. He just didn't have enough time to get over there. But you see Mooney hopping, and you'll see a better angle here from the all 22. just was about to launch it.
Yeah, but he's about to launch
unload. That's what I'm saying. He sees the read. So this is where I think that comment earlier, forgot who it was. It's like frustrating because we need to know if Fields is the guy. And for me, it's like they get the ball snapped. He reads it correctly. He sees Mooney coming wide open, which is what you need to do. And he is about to unload it, about to throw a dot to Mooney. And luckily, I mean, he didn't fumble here. He kind of feels the pressure on his right side, and he can't get it off, man. It's just so frustrating.
It's the O-line. He has Fields since he's been on this team, since day one, right? He's got, again, there's things he has to improve on. None of us are arguing that. But since he's been here on this team, he has never had a competent line. Never.
Yeah.
And it's in that over 3 years that does something. I saw, I think it was a tweet or something. Someone's like, if we can't get Fields to be the future franchise quarterback, no, we'll never get any quarterback. Because I agree that this is the most talented quarterback that has ever stepped foot in Soldier Field wearing a Bears jersey, right? Can we agree on that? We've never had a more talented quarterback than this, right?
No,
and the fact that we can't even get him in a position to thrive yet. He's had games here and there, right? You know what I mean? There's still a lot of potential, but the fact that the O-line still hasn't been good enough is like, it's crazy. Now, here's what I think. Like, if we can make it through this season and that question gets answered, then I feel like next year we're going to be even set. Because I already know Poles as an offensive lineman, he's going to be focused on the trenches. You can't fix everything in one off season, right? But the problem is waiting till next year to do that. Is that going to do too much damage on Fields to where then next year we're like, guess what? We need a new quarterback. Do you know what that means? That means we're in a rebuild again because you have a new quarterback. So ideally, I hope this is just a one, he's going to just not like a one-off, but like this is just a bad game, right? Tons of quarterbacks have bad games. Great quarterbacks have bad games. We hope it's more of that and less of a trend, a telltale sign that like, we might be fucked. So
yeah, I want to say this because again, it is week 1. It was a big game. We both said it. Now we got to kind of live with it. Losing this doesn't feel good, but at the same time, I for one, I don't believe you are either. I'm not giving up on Fields. There is so much talent there still. And to be like, it's over after, week 1, can't do that. However, you got to respond. Next week against Tampa Bay, you have to be better. But also the coaching. Coaching has to be better. Yeah.
So, at least on the offense, you can't. Fields has to have like a comfortable game where you feel good. I'm not even worried about the defense, whatever. It's because the whole point of this season, from Maxwell's comment that he said earlier, is we have to determine if Fields is a quarterback of the future. We can't do that if the man's on his ass every play. You know what I mean? So, like, what are you gonna? You can't do anything if the man's running for his life. It's literally last year all over again, and I don't have enough time to watch 16 games of that. Like, I can't do it. Here's a great question from Robert. It's like, you talked about coaching, right? Where's the RPOs?
I feel you.
Wide receiver motion to hold the pre-snap coverage. Why isn't there deep shot screens? Yeah, it's just like there wasn't, like you said earlier, Dave. You could guess the plays. Where's the complexity of the play call?
I know.
Going to benefit.
It was so frustrating. So we'll move to. Let's go ahead and move to our overall grades. We'll do real quick offense, Ficky. Overall offense on the day.
Offense overall is a D. C minus. I'll go C minus
D?
because we did score some points. I'll say D or C minus.
Yeah, it's better than nothing. Okay, for me, I'm gonna go D plus, dude, because I'm not giving garbage time. It's a win, sure, because for field stats, kind of looks okay. 212 yards. He had like 40 something rushing, and then
first half was like
37 attempts.
I guess it's like if you
got to finish drives.
That's it. I was about to say, took it right out of my mouth. I was like, if those drives didn't end in field goals, but instead were touchdowns, a whole different story, right? We marched the field, we marched the ball down the field a couple times, especially in the first half. But it's like either we penalize ourselves backwards, right? Obviously, we're out of range, or we'd end up with the field goal. So you got to finish that stuff.
And then we've 40 almost an hour into the show, we didn't even talk about Claypool, and so the offense. I mean, Claypool, there's a clip going around, and we could bring it up, but I don't even know if I want to because these plays, the screen plays, playing horizontal, you have to block. The Bears inactives, Baylor Stone Jr. Okay, we want to see what Tyler Scott can do. He only got 2 targets. He had some nice plays.
But if he had short, no, but even let me stop you there because I know what you're going to go next.
Yeah,
Velus Jones was more short game. He's your gadget guy. So why is he your inactive, right? Like Tyler Scott trait is deep. He had like one of the highest average yards per catch last year in the NCAA. So it's like he is more of that deep type of play. So if your game plan is more short game, why is it not flipped? Does that make sense?
I don't know, man. And then you got EQ, who is your best blocking receiver. And we all saw what Claypool could do. He couldn't block a guy who was 5'8". Almost took Mooney's head off. We've seen it. I'm not even going to bring up the plays. I'm sure everyone's seen it around Twitter. Yeah, but his effort on a contract year, man. Again, it's game 1, but this is why I said this is going to set the tone, and it's going to be hard. I feel like it's going to be difficult to kind of bounce back, and they're going to have to.
I hope there's 2 ways this goes. This either goes 2019, where we lost the Packers week 1, and we were garbage that year, right?
I kind of knew after that game. I was like, all right, yeah, this is tough.
I'm not necessarily on that one just yet,
but Me either.
This could also go 2018, where it's like, okay, we got stomped week 1. We started to make some adjustments. I think we ended up going like 3-1 or 2-1.
Well, we didn't get stomped. We just gave up a 20-point lead. And then
was that 28? Oh, that was 28. That was Mac year. Yeah,
that was Aaron Rodgers.
That's even worse. Yeah, that was even worse.
That was tough.
Yeah. So basically, obviously that team on paper, the defense is much better. But it's like either we are able to bounce back, because one thing with Fields, we do say this: Fields typically doesn't have back-to-back bad games. He hasn't, at least in the even in this 12-game losing streak or however long it is. Even with practices, he doesn't have bad to bad. So I'm hoping next Sunday, win or lose, he's like, all right, look, I'm gonna rip this motherfucker. So we'll see, but it'll be interesting.
I agree, man. So special teams, quick grade.
Passing, like for special teams, basically, if I don't have to talk about you, you did your job. So you get an A or
an A,
whatever it is. Yeah, I'll give him A.
Santos looked good. Gil looked good, but I did have a note here. They gave up a return of like 20 plus yards, 30 yards. Yeah. Anyways, it put him almost in field goal range. Luckily, I think there was a penalty. I just didn't like the coverage on that. I was like, you can't. That's fair,
but we also punted the ball,
especially if the game was close. That's true. Yeah, they're probably out of breath.
So it's like, I mean,
out of breath.
Ran a mile out
so
there.
Again, I would say about a B.
For me, I'm looking at like special teams, like it's passing or you're not passing. Like it's
you can't be too
thumbs
critical.
up or thumb down. I'm not, what I mean? Because Santos looked good, Gil looked good, right? And it's kind of like, there wasn't anything where you're like, oh shit, this team looks like special teams. We've had games where it's like, especially in the past, where you're like, oh wow, this
we're talking about
not look good.
Yeah, like if you're talking about kicking, it's not good, unless it's Justin Tucker or something like that. Now we'll go to coaching. This one should be easy, probably, but I guess I'll.
F.
Yeah, you're. F.
Sorry, I'm sorry not to jump. I was because no explanation. It was not game plan.
I'm trying my best here to be like, why not give them an F? Give me a reason to not give them an F, and I can't. You had months to prepare a game plan. You had months to think about everything that the Packers could throw at you, and they came out in that second half, made no adjustments. The Packers did, LaFleur outcoached Flus. I mean, Alan Williams
all the way through. Alan Williams.
If Baker Mayfield lights up this defense,
oh, you're gone, buddy.
Is Alan Williams is he out of here? Like, is he out of here? Like, for real? Like, I'm being honest. If they drop 38 or something like that, at what point do you have that conversation about Alan Williams, in my opinion? Because it's like last year I was like on the fence. Some of those
last
games,
year's because the team was so bad that it was hard. Again, it was hard to judge. No, I get you. I'm saying though, last year the excuse was, well, his roster is garbage.
The talent,
all his best players, all the best players, we shipped them off. Now it's a little bit better. D line still sucks. D line still garbage. All right, let me make that clear. But it's.
Again, if Tampa comes in here and just drops 30 plus on you, and unless we drop 32, then it's more fun. But it's just like the conversation you almost have to have that at some point this year with Alan Williams, and it's frustrating, especially if it's Baker Mayfield. I mean, I like Baker, but it's like he should not be coming in here, or we're going to Tampa, but we should not be doing that. That should not be happening. So for me, I would go F2. You just can't. You have all this time to prepare. It's almost like malpractice, like as far as what they did on both sides of the ball, and it can't happen. It can't happen again. The thing that scares me the most is the lack of adjustments. It's like they didn't have anything to throw out there. They didn't have a game plan, after getting, punched in the face, by the Packers. And what's frustrating is the Packers did, man. Like they outclassed us in so many areas, and it's so frustrating because it's like I'm tired of it. But I will never talk shit again. I will never.
You can't, bro.
I don't even know if I talk shit this summer. Like this summer, I kind of took it easy. I was like, but I was feeling so confident. So for me, I'm not gonna feel confident anymore when it comes to Green Bay until we just fucking do it. Until we win, man. You can't do it.
No, you're on my side now. That's how I've been, Dave. I've been burnt way too many times. I'm just like,
I appreciate it, man. I'm just gonna start listening to you more, man. It's frustrating.
Because it's just like you haven't shown me anything. It's tough. Again, this was a bad game. I'm hoping that it's just a bad game and not a bad.
I think that's the only thing we can do. Like obviously, there's a lot of room for doom and gloom. We'll let the national media, we'll let everyone else do that. As far as people who cover the team, people that watch this team every single week. I believe that they're better than this, man. They have to be.
They are. Offseason.
There's so much more talent. And Justin Fields, that I go back to last year, that stretch he had with no talent around him, and they tailored the offense to him. They rolled him out. First of all, no design runs basically against Green Bay.
No.
Maybe one or two. Well, it had one weird one.
Yeah, I don't think there was.
Anyways, it's just like we need more of that, man. Because first of all, him running for his life is not good. But on design runs, it allows you a little bit more protection. Kind of that takes the outside variables away. Where you're going. Yeah, the surprise is just it's easier for him to get hurt on those plays that are not designed. And so for me, it's like, where was all of this? And so for me, I believe they're going to fix it. They have to. Otherwise, there could be some changes coming very, very soon.
I think so too. That's why I'm like, our reactions are just in the bubble of this game. How I feel about the season, I'm gonna let that come. One game is not going to change. If this was against like the Chiefs, we would not be as upset. The fact is, it was against our big brother that we hate. You know what I mean? So that's the issue. It was against the Packers. If this is against any other team, we don't care as much, right? But we got to take it, and then hopefully it's a whole different narrative by the end of the season. It's a long season for a reason. I just think that the offseason was so, like, we look at last year's offseason, right, with like how they're talking about Fields and whatnot, and it's like, yeah, he's still learning stuff back there. It was like, yeah, it's not really, it doesn't look, there wasn't good talks about the offense. This offseason was completely different. Was every day perfect? No, but the overall vibe was like, oh my God, this team is definitely more talented. He's got more weapons. And then also, this goes back to my point. In the offseason, there was concern that, we're not throwing the ball deep enough. And I remember I was like, yeah, but that's his strength. I'm not worried about it. Well, shit. Maybe they actually, maybe that was what they're like focused on so much that there's no deep plays anymore. So
it's like it's like they were locked in on like 3 plays. Like when you play Madden, you got like your 3 plays. Yeah, it's like fucking RPO, bubble, screen, screen. It's like they were locked in. We're gonna make this work, and they're like, we're not gonna adjust. We're going down. It's honestly, man, I'm laughing, but it's so
laughing your pain.
Tiring,
that's how
man.
I was.
It's so
Sunday.
Tiring. Well, let's end it here. I guess we'll end it here. We'll take some questions in a minute. So if you guys have any questions you want us to answer, send them in real quick. We'll kind of get to all of them if we can. And then Kyler Gordon, didn't talk about it. I want to go ahead and give an update. Obviously he played 27 snaps. He had 1 nice pass breakup, and then I think he ended up injuring his hand. So right now, I think it came out, it was reported that he already met with doctors today. So for me, what that signifies is 1, is there a surgery? Are they planning a day? 2, how severe is it? Does it need surgery? Either way, it's not good. If you're meeting with doctors, man, I don't think it's good, but it's frustrating because that corner, that secondary is what was supposed to be, a strength of this team. If you lose Kyler, nickel position, it's going to be tough.
I guess I'll have to suit up then, I guess, according to that.
Yeah, everyone says yeah. Oh, yeah, you
It's the
do.
hair. It's
You
definitely
do
the
look
hair.
like Kyler a little bit, man.
Yeah. Definitely not athletic.
Not
Do
as
not
quick,
put me on
though,
that
yeah.
field. No. You want to talk about giving up points?
You
Do
kinda
not
remind
put
me
me
of-
on that field.
Kind of remind me like a linebacker, but
Oh no, definitely
anyways,
built
though,
like
man.
a linebacker for sure. But yeah, we'll see. Injuries, that happen. So that's not the worst. Like injuries are gonna happen. That's just the game of football. So if that's the worst injury we got from this game, okay. Obviously, we need him back there, but that's not on the list of concerns.
Yeah,
that is not near the.
I don't like it because he's one of my favorite players. One guy I was excited to watch this year. And again, yeah, if that's the only thing that's banged up, it is. But hopefully, it's just nothing too serious. We'll figure out.
If there's anyone needs to be healed, get Tevin back out here, bro. We miss you, bro.
Yeah.
Personally, from me, I need you back out here. We do have some questions though. Wait a second, let me put this one first. So we have one from Maxwell. Oh my gosh, this is funny as hell. Sorry, for podcast listeners, we kept going back and forth.
I kept on hitting on accident, man.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Maxwell said, if one thing has improved for week 2, what would you pick it to be? It's a great question.
If one thing has to improve for week 2, what would you pick it to be? Yeah, I mean, I guess you want to start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, one thing has to be. Yeah, I mean, I think it was said David, good name, in Facebook. His comment, he said coaching, and he said coaching basically blew that game on Sunday, and I really do believe that too. I love Fields. He wasn't perfect, but I'd say it was about 70% on coaching, and then about 30% on Fields and maybe the rest of the offense, because the execution wasn't great. Fields had some guys that were open as far as NFL terms go in those windows, and he didn't fire. He didn't, pull the trigger, and that's frustrating. But at the same time, when you have a game plan like that, it just wasn't built for him. You're not rolling him out. You're not helping him out. So for me, the one thing that has to change, and if it doesn't, there's going to be some serious questions. Like I'm not even going to go there, but for real, if you come out with the same stuff that didn't work, and you don't go back to last year as far as what you did after New England,
what worked,
you gotta make changes. So for me, number one change that will help improve everything, including Fields and include, because the receivers I'm sure don't want to just block all the time. I mean, I love Claypool. I mean, I know Claypool wasn't perfect, but he doesn't want to block all the time.
You're a receiver,
that's not what his game is. He's a receiver. He wants to get some targets. DJ Moore, I guarantee you, is pissed off. I bet he couldn't sleep. Two targets,
bro,
on his debut.
Crack.
Luke Getsy, what are you doing, man? Like that film room is going to be tough, and Fields wasn't perfect, but at the end of the day, that has to change. Otherwise, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a really tough Monday morning again.
I agree with you, and that's a perfect transition for our next question here from Joe, who said, "Whose seat is hotter, Flus, Getsy, or Williams?" So whose seat is hotter? I'll go first. You went first on the last one. I'm going to say it's not Flus. It's not more offensive coordinators, more likely. Yeah, no, but he's going to, if you're talking about like when people get fired,
let's just rank
normally
them.
Goes coordinator. Okay, so I'll say hottest seat is, I'd say Allen Williams.
I agree.
Then it's going to be Getsy. Then it's going to be Flus, and Poles is not on the hot seat in any sort of way.
Yeah, I agree, Williams. I definitely agree, Getsy. I think he's catching up to Allen pretty damn quickly.
Yeah, but Getsy wasn't such. At least Getsy had a season that we're like, oh,
no, yeah,
like,
yeah.
But
it's the amount of time he had to prepare, and this kind of goes with Flus too. This is on Flus too. It's like you let this man. You're like, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's play horizontal these are also the whole his guys time too. Yeah.
None of them look good after this game. Let's make that clear.
Yeah.
But
so I would go Williams, Getsy, Flus, Poles.
Yeah, and I don't think Poles in the hot seat at all. I really don't.
No, I don't. No, he's not perfect.
No, but
he's not perfect.
But he's built this team up from nothing. All his stuff so far has been good. He can't coach the players. Sorry.
So you touched on it. The draft capital next year. And the cap space you have.
The best players on the line were people you drafted. Your draft picks last year looked good. We just talking about Kyler Gordon, right? My twin.
Yeah.
That's a pick from him. Brisker, all that stuff. So I'm not worried about Poles in any sort of way. Let's see. Okay, here's another one. JG said, at what point do Flus take over defensive play calling? I'm going to say this. I actually don't want that to happen. I like it where the head coach is the head coach. That's my opinion. I like, unless you're like a crazy mastermind on offense, which some people you have, like Sean McVay, what's his name in 49ers. But a lot of times I'm like, I just want you to, we saw what that was with Nagy. He fucked that up tremendously. I just want you to be the head coach, and you should do a good job to where you have confidence in the coaching staff below you to do what they need to do.
For some reason, I just had like a deja vu moment where it's like, I feel like we had this conversation before, even though obviously we haven't, as far as just like play calling and do we want this? I don't know. Very weird scenario. Just kind of,
I mean, it's because this shit happens every season.
It's weird. But I agree with you, man. I agree with you 100%. Like, I want him to be a head coach. He needs to focus on, his guys. And obviously I like that he has a specialty. That's always good for a coach, offensively or defensively. For me, I prefer offensive minded, but I understand going with Flus, like him right now. Nothing too crazy. I'm not going to jump the gun on him. But as far as that, I think you bring in another DC. If Alan Williams is let go midseason, maybe you hand it over for that time being and then or you just do it maybe an interim, bring up an assistant, something like that. I don't know. But for me, it's like, yeah, I agree with you. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't go that route.
And then here's a comment from MJB. Y'all okay with Bojack? He looked pre-Flus like again. Bojack didn't do enough to where I was called not good or bad. You know what I mean? Like,
he said he was going to have the best season the safety's ever seen.
Yeah, but the defensive line, it's not. I mean, what else could?
Yeah, but I mean, touchdown, that first opening, that Jordan Love opening drive, right there. I mean, that was not good coverage, man. Like it wasn't,
but again, it's so hard. It'd be different if it was like every drive I'm like, dang, they keep targeting Bojack. Like, oh my, no, it was like the whole defense as a whole didn't look good. Let's be fair. No, it wasn't Jalen Johnson. He basically didn't get thrown to again. Classic JJ stuff. So he did what he needed to do. But everyone else, it wasn't like it's just Stevenson, the game plan wasn't good.
Stevenson, he had okay, yeah. But man, that was it Dobbs or that one that he had in the end zone where he kind of just he didn't turn his head quick enough. He almost got there and put his hands up. Anyways, I agree with you. I think Bojack looked okay, but for me, it's like the expectations were set. Similar to like what Justin Jones talking, all this crap, like, the rivalries is going to change. For me, it's like Bojack, he talked a lot, or not a lot, he tweeted, and he said that he was going to produce. And for me, it's like you're playing Green Bay. I would love to see a little bit more.
I don't know, because I'm more for him though. Bojack is a playmaker, right? So if he gets a pick next week, I'm like, oh, that's normal Bojack. You know what I mean? Like, so for me, sorry, it's not that I'm not saying he played well. I'm like, bro, the whole defense as a whole you can't stand out on a defensive side of the ball if the game plan's ass, and then your D lines are worse than the NFL. So like, if there's no pressure on Love, he can just dime you up all day, and he did do that. So Derek Carr, he had a bad game. The whole defense did. See, I don't know. I feel like that's kind of a reach. The comment was he didn't have desire to hit. I don't know about that. I'm not going to say like I don't know what these players' desires are. If the whole team is, it's like looking at the offense and being like DJ Moore had 2 targets, only 2 catches. He had a bad game. No, the offensive game plan was dog shit. So therefore, he didn't get the ball. So I look at it the same thing on the defense. Yeah. The defensive game plan was dog shit. Everyone played bad. There was no,
for me, it's
like, oh wow.
Yeah, for me, I'm not going to read into the entirety of like, did they want to play? Because for me, it's like everyone in that locker room wanted to win this game. I truly believe that. But as far as just when you throw in the coaching, when you throw in just the win being taken out of you, not finishing drives, then you have all these screenplays, you have these penalties, your morale, your demeanor, it gets low quick. You got Chicago, thousands of fans booing you. It's going to be tough. Now, again, these are professionals. Play better. It doesn't happen. I get that. It is what it is. So we'll end it here. We've been going for a while. We got one more, Fig?
Yeah, let's do one last one. One last one here.
Okay.
This has been here. And this is from Axe. When do the fans turn on Fields? And this will be the last one, by the way. When do the fans turn on Fields? Made some bad, simple mistakes, like not getting rid of the ball in the red zone. We kind of talked about this earlier.
I know what place he's talking about, yeah.
Yeah, again, I think the overlying issue is that it's hard to have a clear-cut analysis on whether or not Fields is the guy or not, because there's so many other things around him that are not good. You know what I mean? Really, the offensive line.
Yeah.
If the man has time, like for example, let's say next week, right? Hypothetically, he has like the pressures are like how many pressures we had. Let's say it's like 6 pressures. That's not that much, right? The man has most of the day to throw the ball, and we still start seeing these mistakes, right? Then I'm gonna come on here and be like, bro, like you had time. That was the biggest issue. You had time, and
Then
now
it's
you're
Caleb
not.
Williams, Drake may talk
Or Saunders
for sure.
Yeah,
That would be fun. Anyway,
that would be fun. Anyways, we're getting too far ahead, but the point is,
I believe
like
we
the
believe in
offensive line.
Fields.
Yes,
Yeah.
we do. But we don't believe in the offensive line, and neither does Fields. So it's hard.
But the game plan changes next week. I think we see a whole different team, and we should see a different.
Hopefully,
get them on the roll them out. As far as when do we turn? When do the fans start? I mean, it could be very quick, man. Even if
fans are going to turn quick. Fans
year
are turning
3,
now.
the problem is even if the line is ass and just continues to be, and the game plan does not change, yeah, there's going to be people bringing it up. But at some point, it's like, okay, year 3, he's just not the guy. And there's going to be those people saying that. Some are already kind of saying it. So it's like,
I mean, it is
for me.
I'm
going to keep it level-headed. We're going to be okay. Tampa, I think, will be a lot better. I believe it. They have to change the game plan, and I think everything else changes.
It can't be worse, Dave. I can tell you that. It cannot be worse. It cannot.
I agree, man. I agree, man. But hey, appreciate everyone tuning in to the BFR podcast, again, presented by Sports Mockery. We'll be here Thursday to preview the Tampa game. We'll have a cool guest on, kind of preview it, see perspective, with Baker Mayfield and everything like that. As far as, the content, we'll be doing 2 episodes a week. We'll do Monday nights, Thursday nights. Obviously, if there's a Monday night game, we'll change it up. And we'll kind of keep you updated. You can follow the pod on Twitter at BFR_pod. Again, you can follow Ficky. It's Ficky Baby on all his social platforms. You can check me out at Twitter at Dave_BFR. Check out my writings at sportsmockery.com. We appreciate all the love. Everyone's sticking with us. Not the greatest debut, not the greatest opening to the season, but we're gonna do our best to kind of talk about it, give our honest perspectives and just kind of have fun. So if you enjoyed the content, if you enjoyed this, episode, hit the like button. It does help the channel grow. It really does, which is weird, but it really does. If you really want to support the channel and you want to stick with us the rest of the ride for the season, go ahead and sub to the channel. Hit the notification bell. It really does. Again, it helps. Ficky, anything before we go, man?
Week 1 starts next week. I'm forgetting about this week. I don't know what the hell I just witnessed. I'm just going to take a game at a time. I think you tweeted that, right?
My pinned tweet at 8 o'clock this morning was ready for week 1. Bears versus Bucks. Football is back. And that's how it is, man.
I saw that shit this morning. I laughed. I go, oh, yep. The NFL season has started. So, you know what? Yeah. Game by game, it's a long season. There's going to be some games we come on here and we're going to be so happy to talk about. And I'm hoping that's next week. So thanks for choosing us in these tough times and sticking with us.
There's a lot of out there, and everyone, again, love has just been awesome. And I can't believe I just said love, but
yeah, you did.
Anyways,
well, he was kind of awesome, but
the support has been great. We look forward to kind of chatting with you guys on Thursday, and we'll see you soon.
Peace.